Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to our YouTube Live. My name is Scott Watson. Welcome to Go Small, Live Large, all about van life travel on a Friday afternoon on a long holiday weekend. Summer's officially kind of over, right? But it's pretty hot everywhere. It's just a pleasure to have you here. We got a kind of exciting show for you tonight. We've got Patty and Gary standing by in their camper van built by Embassy RV. Just want to cover a few things before we bring them on. Whoops, there they are. Sorry, guys. See a great group in here already. This is amazing. So this is Patty and Gary. They're currently in Canada. Let me cough quick. You can tell them how to practice talking. They're going to share their story. They've been they are full-time travelers in their camper van, and they are excited to share. And we've been talking in the green room, and they've got some amazing stories and places to go. If we're meeting for the first time, howdy, my name is Scott. I've been doing van life travel since October of 2018, both part-time, full-time, and then part-time again, kind of taking this summer off. We got a lot of stuff happening beginning this month and next over the next few months. So if you want to check all that out, you can visit my website, gosmalllivelarge.com. That would be an honor to have you part of the overall journey. Here's what we're going to cover with Patty and Gary. Kind of talk to them about, get to know them a little bit better. Why Embassy RV, why a Dolphin, and what makes them kind of unique in the camper van space. Life on the road. They are full-time travelers, so that's different than just taking a trip for a week. It's in that, like I say, they're in Canada right now. Tips on living in a small space. We'll learn that they spent 10 days with their youngest son traveling around in a camper van. So that's kind of interesting. And lessons learned and some advice. That's what we want to kind of get from them. I got a lot of questions. Probably you have questions too. And if you can help me out with the format, it's 3 asterisks, 3 question marks. That helps me see the question and get it answered with Patty and Gary more readily. And if you have a comment you want to be sure to be addressed, be shown on screen, it's kind of the same format, 3 stars and then 3 exclamation points. A couple of quick announcements on upcoming content. And I'm praying that my cats aren't going to knock anything over here. So let's hope the cat gods are with us. I'm feeding them. So right now that they should be wanting to snooze. Okay, here's some upcoming events. So next Friday, I was going to do this on Monday, but a little too soon. It's Labor Day weekend. So I moved this out. Next Friday at 7 p.m. We're going to talk about wild fire danger. And this is a hot topic. We talked with our Patreon audience a couple weeks ago, and this is a hot topic. It's very scary. That's a hot topic. On Friday, the 19th of September, so 3 weeks, we're going to talk with owners of a Midwest Automotive Patriot. They're very excited to share their story, and we got more content planned. Again, my website, gosmalllivelarge.com, has all of that information. Visit that and participate as you are able. So with that, what I'd like to do is bring on Gary and Patty. Oh, there we are.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Scott.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to be here.
It is so awesome to have you here. We met a few months back, and you kind of agreed to this, and Sherry's kind of the queen of marketing-ish at NBC, and you began to share your story. So it's
queen of everything.
She is a saint on earth for sure. She was great and connected us, and here you are. So maybe just give the folks a little bit of background, and where are you currently, and what's the weather like where you are currently?
Well, currently we're in
Sudbury,
Ontario, Canada. So we're just a few hours west of Ottawa, and that's kind of our route. We're kind of meandering our way to Maine. We're going to be in Maine in early October. So we're going to go to Ottawa and Montreal, Quebec City, and maybe hit a few provincial parks on the way. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at right now. And temperature was just in the mid-60s today. Sunny, nice day. So, yeah, it's beautiful here in Canada.
I am so jealous. It's about 90 degrees, 95% humidity, and we just had a huge storm cell roll through. So it's endless summer in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
Thank you again for being here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some pictures. They were good enough to share some of this. Some of these places I have been, maybe you have been. But if you can get your questions coming in, we'll try and get to everybody. We see David in here. Here's Sherry. Speaking of Sherry, she's coming out as from Wisconsin. So hi, Sherry. Thanks again for helping set this up.
Sherry.
Here's David. He's in Chicago. Is he in Chicago? He's in Illinois. Kind of it. Here, Galena. Oh, Galena's cool. Oh, yeah, Harvest Host. Do you guys do Harvest Host, Patty Gary?
We don't actually. We were on the fence and we decided not to do it and just see if we needed to. And so far we haven't had the need, so we have not joined. We've actually stayed at a couple with others, but they said you don't need to be a Harvest member. Just come on in, no problem. So
that's cool. I did that. I snuck in with a couple of van friends, and then they locked the gate. I didn't know till the next morning, and I was trying to get out. It was a huge fiasco. I about ran the gate over. I was going to be one of those guys, but
they did ask ahead of time just to clarify.
Fair enough. That's fun. Here we got Roads of Life. So this is Robert out of Texas, 88. Now because of rain. So he's also an embassy owner, which is great. Here's a question. Thank you, David, for using the format. Gary and Patty being full-time, how do you deal with weather while on the road? That's a great question. Yeah,
that is a great question. So we try to stay out of the bad weather, obviously, and stay where, mid 70s and not humid. That's what we're looking for. But weather does come up. We use a resource, Ryan Hall, y'all. You may have heard of him. He's on YouTube, and he does forecast YouTube videos, and but he does them for kind of the whole country, where it's going to be extremely hot, extremely cold, where the weather's going to be very stormy, maybe tornadic or snowstorms. So he kind of covers the whole country and does 5 to 10 day forecasts. So that gives us an idea of what's kind of coming on a nationwide perspective. And then, we use the regular apps, Weather Underground or AccuWeather, on a daily basis. But Ryan Hall, y'all, helps us kind of plan for the future and stay out of harm's way.
Ryan Hall, y'all. He must be from Texas. I love that.
That's he's fantastic. And then, when there is bad weather, like he goes live and he's got storm chasers. Oh my God. And there's, 500,000 people watching him. And he's predicting where the tornadoes are and where they're going to be. It's really fantastic.
That's crazy. That's crazy. AccuWeather is one I use. I see Justin here. Justin, thanks for joining us today. He's the one that turned me on to that. It's very, very accurate. I think it's $4 a month or $3 a month. But it's really, really great. And here's Leslie Walker joining First Go Small Live Large live. So hi, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Here's Rick B. Good evening from Georgetown, Texas. Thanks for being here. Here's Deborah saying hi. And here's Ohio Sharon. Hi from outside St. George, Missouri, on my way back to Ohio. Ohio Sharon. She just came, if you weren't aware, she drove her van into Canada to Alaska and back.
Awesome.
So she is a busy lady celebrating 79 years on the road, solo female traveler. So awesome. What's my excuse, right? So let's so anything's kind of on the table for questions. Fuel economy, safety, security, maintenance costs, internet. I'd be curious. Man, my dry throat. I apologize. Internet in Canada. How have you solved that? Because that was one thing I did not solve when I was in Canada last August. How's the internet up there? What'd you do for that?
Yeah, so our main phones that we use are through Google Fi. And Google Fi does a really good job with international travel, especially Canada and Mexico. No problem with data, texting, calls. Everything's part of your plan in those two countries. And even overseas, it's really good. So that's what we're using primarily. That's what we're streaming on right now, is just our Google Fi phone hotspot. And then we have a visible phone. On the Verizon platform. The Google Fi is on the T-Mobile platform. So that gives us two platforms that we can kind of pick and choose from, whichever gives us the best signal. But the visible plan is it works out well too. So that's what we use for internet, and it works good for us.
That's great. So we're going to show some pictures here in just a second. You guys do some pretty severe, in a good way, hikes with some big elevation. Do those devices, do you take your phone with you, or do you use like an Apple Watch where you get cellular or satellite connectivity? What do you do when you're kind of out in the remote hikes?
Yeah, so we just use our phones, and yeah, you're right. Some of those hikes, actually most of them, especially in national parks, there is no cell phone connectivity. Although sometimes the higher elevation you go, sometimes you pick up a signal. And I did have a satellite communicator that I purchased, but it really didn't work well for us. So I ended up returning it. It was a less expensive one than the Garmin. So I don't know. We may pick up a Garmin inReach and kind of keep that from a safety perspective. But so far, everything's worked out with just our cell phones.
Wow, that's great. Congratulations. Here, you probably know this character. This is Bob and Deb Scott.
Oh yeah, very.
Yes.
Yeah, they were one of the key players in us deciding to purchase an embassy.
That is so awesome.
With
That is
Sherry.
so awesome. And Leslie's coming in from Canada, New Brunswick. So that's cool.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
Yeah. Sherry's got a question. I'm going to show a couple of pictures after this. Gary and Patty, best RV gadget item you would recommend? That's always a biggie.
Oh boy.
Which one, right?
well, either the sliding door or the back door. To lock the back
Yeah.
door.
So there's two things. One is our the side sliding door. If you're at a level spot and you open that door, you can position it to wherever you want it, no problem. But if you're on an incline, it's either going to slide open or slide closed. So there's a little gadget that we have that was fastened to the track that allows, it's kind of a stopper. So it allows us to open the door about halfway and kind of lock in place. So even if we're on an incline, the sliding door doesn't go all the way open or all the way closed. So if we're just loading groceries and it's raining, we can only open it. We can open it halfway and it'll stay locked in that spot. The other thing is there's a back door latch extender that we put into the back door, and it opens our door about 2 inches, but still locks the door with the latch. So we can have that door cracked a couple inches and still be locked. So if we're out on a hike, we can still get some airflow through the back area, or even at night when we're sleeping, the door is locked. It's not going to open. So yeah, we feel pretty safe and secure. So those are two things.
Yeah, and we use them a lot.
Yeah, just a little bit of airflow makes such a difference. It's
Yeah.
just unbelievable.
For sure.
So let's we got Jane in the house here. I'm going to show this next picture. I just got home 2 hours ago. Van is unloaded. Food is put away. Roger's trying to mow the lawn before it rains.
We just met Jane and Roger for the first time in Oshkosh. We were there for a little meetup with the gang. So
2 weekends ago.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, aren't they great?
Yeah.
So let's show this picture here and maybe tell us. Well, raise your hand in the audience if you know where this is before Patty and Gary give the location away. It's the bluest water you've probably ever seen, right? So where are you here?
So that is Crater Lake in California, and we're with our youngest.
No, Portland.
Is it in Oregon or California?
Oregon.
No, Oregon. Yeah, sorry. So we're with our youngest son. He flew out and spent about 10 days with us, and this was one of our stops.
How do you hold up in the van?
Well, I think it was fine. We kind of did a mix of hotels and van stays and campgrounds just to give him a little elbow room. I don't know how much time you want to spend with your parents in a van, but no, it worked out great. Patty sleeps across the 2 seats in the front, and Mike and I sleep in the back, and so it works. And then again, we're just in the van sleeping during the day, and everything we're out hiking or doing whatever we're doing. So yeah, it's just a place to sleep.
That's so cool. And Crater Lake is it's so amazing. The water, I can't remember the exact deal, but there's no outlet for the water. So it's just rainwater, right?
Right.
And it's got it's a collapsed volcano.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm looking at my cat. He's he's waking up just in time for YouTube Live. So great. Yeah, one of my favorite places. And now, what is this? I think there's another picture coming up in a minute. But what is the goat giving you the coal finger, or what's going on here?
The stink eye or something? Yeah, I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were just hiking on a trail. This was in Glacier National Park, and we took a trail kind of right out of our campground, at a really high elevation, and yeah, kind of came around the bend, and this guy was on the trail, and I was on the trail, and we made eyes, and I decided to move off the trail and let him go by. Patty stayed back, about 100 yards once she saw the goat, but I kind of challenged it a little bit, but yeah, it was all fun.
That's cool. Is it molting? Is that what losing its hair? Is that what that's about?
I think so. Yeah, the season, right? It was it was in the spring last year, so yeah.
That would make sense. That's pretty funny. And this one I love. I'm so jealous. I've never been here. I've driven by a million times when we used to live in Spokane and Seattle. Where is this, and what are you doing? Is this an EDM dance festival? You guys got your glow lights on, or what is this?
Well, I'm gonna age us a little bit by when I tell you who we saw there, but yeah, it's the Gorge, which is a concert venue in the middle of nowhere in Washington, the state of Washington, and yeah, the view is fantastic. Again, as we talked before, the pictures don't do it justice, right? I mean, it's really hard to get the feel of it, but just a great. And so it was an all-day concert, and it was who was it? It was John Mellencamp. It was Bob Dylan.
Oh wow!
It was Willie Nelson and Billy Strings. So cool. it was very good concert. Yeah, it was awesome. It went from, I don't know what time it opened, like 2 in the afternoon till 10 at night. So it was a long day, but it was great.
Yeah.
Was there overnight camping available, or did you have to drive out?
Yeah, there was.
Really?
So you can camp. Yeah, there's different, I don't know. There's all kinds of different areas that you can camp, and some have more amenities than others.
Closer.
And you're packed in there pretty tight. We decided to stay at a state campground about 30 minutes outside of the gorge, just because, I don't know, it just seemed easier for us and a little better for us. So yeah, we drove in for the concert and then drove back to the state park for the night. But you can camp there. And I know I know Dave Matthews, I think, is there this weekend for a 3-day concert. So yeah, people go there, set up camp for 3 days, and just hang out and have fun.
George Washington, the location of the Gorge at George. And behind you in the distance is the Columbia River. Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's really a cool space in the middle of the state of Washington. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe just one more, and then let's take some questions. Let's see. We got some mountain ones coming up. I'm looking off there. You guys are really vigorous. Let me show this one. You guys are really vigorous climbers. I'm very impressed, actually. Where is this, and what were you doing?
So yeah, this is in Banff and National Park, and this is, I think it's Bow Lake. And so yeah, just another. I mean, there's so many hikes, right? So this is just another hike with a great view and some elevation, and yeah, of course it's going to rain a little bit while you're out there hiking, but you can see it's pretty overcast. But even with that, even with the rain and the overcast, it's just beautiful. So beautiful. It's just so beautiful, and wow, yeah, we really love this hike.
Are there any tips on hiking? Do you use walking sticks? Do you use a compass? Are these groomed trails? Are they kind of off on the bush, or?
No, there are well-maintained trails. Most of what we do is well-maintained and marked. I use an app called Gaia that helps to track our route. So it's great to in case we get off the trail or something, but it's all GPS guided. And so we use that app. And then, yeah, we use trekking poles. Sometimes we don't. Patty's not a big fan, but I like to use them.
Rocky.
Yeah. So we just try to be as careful as we can. I mean, we have both fallen, and luckily, and not had any injuries. But yeah, you just have to kind of be careful and watch what you're doing.
Yeah, but look at your reward though, right? Holy cow.
Yeah.
And the air is so clean, and especially like
And-
on weekdays, there's just nobody on the trail, right?
Right. Yeah. No, it was a great. Yeah. I don't think
No.
we saw anybody
No
else
way.
that day. But you'd be surprised who you see on the trail when we do hike. I mean, we see people that
80.
are 80 years old, 80 in their 80s hiking, and they're just taking it slow and big smiles on their faces and just hiking the trail.
Living the dream. That is so great. We got some questions. Then we got a few more. I got a few more questions for you. We'll talk about embassy here next. So Roads of Life wants to know, how long have you been in Canada and any tips for travel there? I have one for you, getting back into America. But how long have you been there, and any tips for Canadian travel? We talk about internet.
Yeah, so we just got into Canada this time just a few days ago, actually, not too long ago.
It's our third
So
time.
this is our third time since we've been in the van that we've been into Canada. I don't know. It seems very easy to still get across the border and everything. I mean, we did have some eggs confiscated coming back into the U.S.
When they were expensive.
Yeah, we lost 3 eggs, I think. So yeah, we couldn't bring any eggs back for some reason, and then coming in, I think, or going back, I think they asked if I had any beer, and I did have 2 cans, and I said no, and Patty's hitting my leg. I forgot that we had them, but yeah, no problem, no issues. But we lost a couple eggs.
But no, we just currency is charge cards. We don't even use cash or.
Yeah, the only time we had to get some cash was at the laundromat to wash some clothes. You had to get some from the cash station, then get some change to do some laundry.
That's funny. And my tip for folks is not to bring live house plants from Canada into the U.S. I about got arrested, deported, jailed for bringing some house plants. So that would be my tip. Who knew?
I think there's some produce too, like certain produce people.
Produce, some meat. I mean, it's kind of a fruit. I get the why, but it was not a really great experience for me. I'm glad yours was a little better. Let's see. We got Jazz. Oh, here's Eric saying, hi, Scott. Good to see you again. Eric, what's up? Good to see you, sir. Appreciate that. Here's Leonard. We got a secret project I think we're working on. We started talking back in January, so I need to get my ass in gear on that secret project. Len, good to see you. Here's Jazz from Chicago. Now, you folks that you were in Chicago, what part of Chicagoland are you from?
So southwest suburbs, Tinley Park is where we spent 30 some years in Tinley Park. We both grew up in Oak Forest, not too far from Tinley Park. And then the last 2 years before we hit the road, we rented an apartment in Orland Park.
Just north of Kankakee.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's funny. So that's kind of a good segue. So why full-time? Why Embassy RV? What else did you look at?
Yeah, well, full-time. Why full-time? That's that we've always kind of traveled. We like the national parks. With our kids growing up, we made vacationing a priority. When they were off school or whatever, and so we always like that. We did camping, we did car camping, but you always have that. You're going for a week, you got to fit everything in, you got to make sure you get everything done, and you're kind of stressed going there. You have the vacation, which is nice, and then you're kind of stressed when you come home. Because you've got things piled up either at work or home to get accomplished when you're done. So we're coming up on our retirement. We both retired, and we said, what are we going to do in retirement? What do we want to do? What does our perfect days look like? What can we do? What can we still do? We love to hike, we love the outdoors, and we love to explore the country. So no better way than in an RV. So then we started to kick around. Well, what kind of an RV? Should we pull something? How big? How small? I started watching the Russos on YouTube a long time ago. And I'm like, wow, that seems like when you have your whole house with you, it's like, and it's so small and you can go anywhere and maneuver, and the flexibility and the maneuverability of it just seemed like the right thing. So we spent a lot of time talking it through, and then a van. now what van, what manufacturer? There are so many to choose from, and quite a price range. And so we started looking, and we thought we knew what we wanted. We thought we wanted a fixed bed in the back and a lounge in the front, like what the Russos had. It looked like it worked for them, so it probably worked for us. But we were looking around and listening to channels like you, Scott, and all different ones. And so anyway, fast forward to 2022. We still haven't decided exactly what we wanted to buy. We went to a Chicagoland RV show, and there were a few Class Bs there, but not a lot. So, it wasn't anything. So we decided to fly out to the Florida Tampa show in 2022. And one of the biggest shows in the country. And Scott, you were having a meetup there. And so I forgot, maybe it was the Lazy Days Winnebago stand or something. Anyway, we said, well, let's go. We'll stop by Scott and we'll see. We'll introduce ourselves and see, if he has any thoughts about what we should look at. And in the meantime, we're looking at RVs, and we're just, I don't know, just not that impressed. We walked in a lot and we thought, this is their best presentation at the RV show, and we're opening drawers that don't open. We're trying to open drawers or close cabinets or trims falling off, and we were just really disappointed in a lot of the quality that we saw at the show. So anyway, we go to your meetup. There are a few people there. I think we introduced ourselves to you real quick, and then it started raining. It was raining, and then we bumped into Sherry and Bob and Deb Scott. They were at the tent, and we started talking to them, and we said what we're there for. And they said, well, we have embassies and we have them in the parking lot. Why don't you come out with us? So we walked through the rain and trudged out to the parking lot, and Sherry showed us her van. And then Deb and Bob said, come on in ours. And so the five of us sat in Deb and Bob Scott's Embassy Dolphin, Traveler back then. Yeah. Dripping rain. But we sat in there for a couple hours, and we're like, this is the van. I knew about Embassy from watching your channel, Scott. And, I don't know, we weren't 100% sold on the layout of the Dolphin. But once we sat in the Scott's RV and their Embassy, we had the five of us in there for 2 hours. We didn't feel claustrophobic. It felt wide open. It was clean. It was bright. The windows, it was it's
open concept.
We're like, this is it. We know what we want now. Then
they sold us.
They really did sell us on
Thanks,
that
guys.
Embassy. Yeah, thank you so much.
Shout out.
If we didn't bump into them, who knows where we'd be at today. But yeah, on happenstance, we bumped into them. So we flew back to Chicago. We scheduled a van tour, factory tour at Embassy. We went there, went through the factory. And again, that was just icing on the cake to see kind of what happens behind the aesthetics of the van, what happens behind with the systems and how well built it is. And we put our money down right then and had it scheduled for June of 2024 was our attempted pickup date.
That's a great story. And I got to spend some time in an Embassy, and it's a vastly different experience. And to your point on the RVs of other brands, particularly mass-produced ones, the Embassy is so well built. It's just you really need to see it, and then to have Terry walk you through the factory and how they're correctly made, and some of the high-end adventure vans are made well. But it's a very different feel. So congratulations. And now yours the transit base, is that right?
Yeah, it is the transit. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we wanted something too that was going to last. We knew we wanted to go full time at least for a year. We knew that right from the start. And then if we didn't like it, we could pivot and do something else. But if we did like it and say this turned into something that lasted, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, who knows? We did want something that we felt would last that long and give us the support that we needed to travel that way for a long period of time. And I feel the Embassy has that capability to last a very long time.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Wow, that's really cool. Let's got a few questions for you. Thank you for using the format here, Deborah, Gary, and Patty. Which version and year do you have of your van, and what AC unit, and how is it working for you? What's the biggest surprise so far in van life? That's a good one. Good question.
All right. Well, so we have a 2023 Ford Transit chassis and it's a 2024 Embassy build. So that's what we have. We have the split air system. One of the things that drew us to Embassy was the no holes in the roof. We really like that because we felt like it was just another thing for us to maintain and worry about as far as maybe possible leakages or having to make sure that was always sealed. So we went with the split air system, and we don't travel with pets or anything like that. We try not to be in the hottest, humidest temperatures. And so the air conditioner works for us, and it cools us down, and we haven't had any issue. We've been in 100-degree temperatures, and we cool the van down at night before we're going to go to sleep, and we turn the air off, and it's good until morning time, and we can either turn it back on or we go outside. So we love the split system that we have. And again, that works for us, and we don't have pets to worry about or anything like that when we travel. So what's the biggest surprise? I know she mentioned that. And I would say that, it's easier than I thought it was going to be. This lifestyle is pretty easy. I was so used to, we were talking about it a little bit. I was so used to making sure every I was dotted and every T was crossed before we went on some kind of a trip, right? You have to make sure all the reservations are set. Whatever you're going to do is lined up. You're flying in or driving in, any reservation, everything had to be planned. But now we don't have that. And that's fantastic. I mean, we kind of started out that way with a lot of plans, but as we go, we do know where we're going to stay. It's not like we don't know at 4:00 in the afternoon where we're going to stay. We do know that, but we're pretty loose with our plans and pretty flexible. And that's one of the beautiful things about this kind of travel.
Yeah, 100%. You kind of pack once and you just kind of travel around. And have you kind of discovered you don't need a whole lot? It's kind of minimalization, simplicity, dual purpose items. Yep. Patty's nodding her head.
Absolutely.
We talked about that earlier too.
It's shocking how little you really need. Yeah. And then, how much stuff we just accumulated because we had the room in our house to accumulate it. Yeah. That seems like the only reason. We have this room, we have this shelf, let's just fill it up with stuff. Yeah. Not that we need it, let's just fill it up.
Yeah. It's so great. Not that you can't have mementos as you travel around. What I learned was a sticker book, right? A kind of a scrapbook, and put stickers in it. Or if something's really cool and won't really fit in the van, just ship it to home base or a relative, something like that, and pick it up down the road. And I've got all kinds of little mementos in here, even in this trailer thing that I picked up along the road all those years. And it's fun to look at, like this deer over my shoulder from Fredericksburg, Texas, outside of Luckenbach. And every time I look at that, and the whiskey pictures down below it are from my favorite neighborhood in Louisville. So it's kind of fun because when I see those, probably you'll get this experience when you kind of get back to base camp, is you just know exactly where you were, why attracted to you. It brings me a big smile. So it's great. Some good questions here. This is from Sherry. We love Sherry. A national park that you visited that you would go back and visit again. Oof. Canada or U.S.
Right, for sure. Yellowstone and Grand Canyon, because we hadn't done them in years.
Yeah, we haven't been to Yellowstone or Grand Canyon in the van yet, but we've been there years before, so we would definitely go back to. It's almost like most of them. I think most of them we would go back to. It's just if we're in that area or heading in that direction, we'll definitely go back. I mean, for sure, Glacier we would do again, and I don't know. There's Yosemite. There's not too many that I don't think we would not do again, because there's so much to explore in those parks too. And when we go, we do some hikes, but we don't do all the hikes for sure. And so and then you go maybe a different time of the year. I'd love to go to maybe Yellowstone in the wintertime to experience that. That would be something. So yeah, I would probably go to most of them again.
Yeah. Ooh. And there's quite a few of them. And that's just the national ones. And their state parks are just stunningly amazing and less populated.
Oh yeah. We're on
So
40. I think we're on 40 something national parks. So we're getting there.
We're getting there. That's great. Let's see. We got a couple hellos here. Here's Mike McCarthy from Idaho. Have you been to Idaho in your van yet?
Just kind of passing through. I think we touched it, but yeah, that's another state we really need to explore.
Oh man, if you are into, I mean, Boise's great. It's really a great town. And Twin Falls, a great little town. And if you're into stargazing, there is a state park, kind of a little north of, I can't remember the name of it. Got some goofy name, but it's one of those certified blackout areas, and the Milky Way is just hanging over you. I'll never forget. Oh my God. It's so great.
It's great when the Milky Way comes out when it's not even like dark yet, and the Milky Way's popping out. It's like, wow, this is a good spot.
Yeah.
Especially some of these spots you're in. Here's Sandy in Memphis. This is cool. Hi, Sandy. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Here's Butch and Jean from Wisconsin.
Okay.
JB's got a question here. Do you use an RV GPS or just maps on your phone for the Class B for like navigation?
Yeah, we just use the Google Maps. I know that, if you have a larger RV, higher or longer, and, there might be some restrictions with that. But with the Class B that we have and the transit van, we just use Google Maps, and we haven't had any problems with that.
That is cool. This is Lynn from Downers Grove, Illinois, outside of Chicago.
Hey,
learning to make
best friend from elementary school.
It's so great.
Hi, Lynn.
I know. Hi, Lynn. What's up? Learning to make decisions about future van life and travel outdoor in general. So envious. Love you both. This is a cool couple, Patty and Gary. Is she kind of leaning, is she following your footsteps here? What's the deal?
She wants to go out west, and I know she wants to move. She likes the Arizona area, maybe Utah. So we're gonna meet up there, maybe in spring when I'm out that way. I think that's the area she's leaning toward.
The West is gorgeous.
Yeah, she loves it. She loves the Tetons.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And Arizona is it's stunning. New Mexico.
Yep. She loves
that. A long way from Florida, but not that far from Chicago. So here's a hot tip: if you live in the Chicagoland and you have a traditional, okay, Robert Hume, we're 38 minutes into it, and we're going to talk toilets for a second. In Downers Grove, there is actually a free dump station at the Downers Grove wastewater administrative office. So it's open Monday through Friday from 9 to 4, something like that. It's free. It's unlocked. I would recommend not going on Monday because everybody's in a line to dump their tanks. But if you need a dump station for free, Downers Grove Sanitary District Administration Office is where to go. Which begs the question, what toilet is your embassy equipped with?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 7:30. Okay, it's time. It's toilet talk time. So we have the Lavio toilet, and we've used it with the cartridges, although that's not how we use it now. So we do have some cartridge. We have 2 cartridges that we carry with us, and as Patty says, if we're going to have company, then we put the cartridge in. But other than that, we use the old garbage bag hack with horse pellets, and we just try to go kind of number 1 in there. And if an emergency, we'll go number 2. But if not, we'll go somewhere else. We'll find a place to go in our travels. But that's what we're using currently, and it works for us. We have no problem. Those pellets are super cheap, and you can throw them in there, and in a few days you just wrap it up in your garbage bag and throw it away, and it doesn't smell, and it's great.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Terry kind of forced a separate tiny on me. Thanks, Bob and Deb, Scott, for that, and I am so glad they did. I am looking at still replacing my black tank with that system. It's really a beautiful system. And I did get to use a Lavio in an embassy last year, which was super interesting. And I definitely prefer the tiny separate. So there you go. Let's see. We got anchor moments. You might know some of these folks.
Yeah.
Hi, Gary.
Hi, guys.
Vicky. Love our embassy. Best part is making friends like you at Embassy RV Meetup. So yeah, how was the camp out? You guys went in June. I unfortunately missed it, but how was it?
Yeah, it was great, and it's growing and bigger. We went 3 years ago was our first one before we had an embassy, and we stayed in a tent, and because we didn't have an embassy, but it was great to meet everybody that was there and to see how they travel and how they have their vans and talk to them about what they do and where they've been and how they use their van. And but the meetups, I mean, that's probably one of the best things about this lifestyle is the community and the people we've met through Embassy and the Facebook group and the meetups, and then
so many nice people.
Oh, and peace, love, and vans, and then just
Ottawa.
people we meet along the way. I mean, we've met people in Hot Springs that we still stay in touch with. We've met people that were traveling in their RV that were from France and a couple from South America. I mean, South Africa that we still stay in touch with, and a couple that we rode the boat to Dry Tortugas back and forth with. We still stay in touch with. So we just meet so many people, and it's just the community's great.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. And van people are the coolest, but RVers in general, right?
Agreed.
So let's show a few more pictures here. This one kind of gives me the don't get too close to the edge. This one, the elevation looks pretty high. Where are you here?
So that's a glacier again, and that's actually the end of the trail of the one where I was with the goat. So as we were hiking along with the goat, then when we get to the overlook, that was here, and there was again the people that you meet. There was a couple and there was two couples up there that were hiking. And yeah, strike a conversation up. It was just a great conversation at the top, having a snack, and they snapped our photo for us.
That is cool. Don't get too close to the edge.
Yeah, we have a lot of hikes on the edge there. That's a pretty common.
We like that. But the pictures make it look a lot more dangerous than it is. But yeah.
Okay. Let's see. This one's cool. Literally, I think you mentioned you started out in your swimsuits.
Yeah, basically, it was in Banff, and yeah, we started out. There was a glacier close to us, in the other direction. Yeah, we're looking at the glacier, but so yeah, we started out the lake. I think it was in shorts and a t-shirt, or pretty close to that. And by the time we got up to this elevation, it was time to put the puffies on because it was very windy and pretty chilly.
Yeah, that's just I mean, you're above the tree line for sure.
Yeah. A lot of these hikes might be like 7, 8, 9 miles in, and a lot of elevation gain. And by the time you get up there, it's chilly and cold. And and that would be Lake Louise in the background. You know what? That's another story about the van, Gary, with Lake Louise, if you want to share that. Yeah,
just real quick. So the Lake Louise in Banff is a very hard parking lot to get into. You have to be there at the crack of dawn when it opens and to even get a spot. Otherwise, they close it, and it's a long wait to kind of get in there. So we were staying at a spot close by there, and we said, well, you know what? Let's go there. Let's be one of the first there, and then we'll just hunker down in the van and eat breakfast or go back to sleep and whatever. And that worked out great. We got a spot. And it started raining. We didn't have to get out of the van. We stayed in the van. We had breakfast. We had coffee. And then when it stopped raining, we got out of the van and went hiking. But that's one of the beautiful things about this kind of travel in the van.
Yeah, 100%. Can you imagine that with the fifth wheel and all that business? Oh my gosh. Not that those are bad. This is way easier. That's such a great photograph. And this one we chatted about. This one's really special to me. And because I know where this is, so raise your hand if you know what this is. Where did you take this photograph, Patty and Gary?
So that's at Mount St. Helens, and that was really one of our favorites. Just the story behind it, and the landscape, the hike that we did. And you see when you're hiking, you see these big giant boulders that are miles away from that mountaintop, but they got blasted off that mountaintop. I mean, they're the size of cars, and these boulders just flew through the air miles and miles and landed. And just the whole story behind it.
Section where all the trees were.
Yeah, the trees are just cut like toothpicks.
Look like stubs, like stubs.
Something.
Yeah, it's I was telling Patty and Gary on in the green room that so I was a young guy. I don't really remember what my age was. I guess I was 25. But in May 1980, May 20th, 1980, when the mountain blew up, our family was big into going to the Fairchild Air Force Base every year when they did Armed Forces Day is what they called it back then. So they opened the base and it was a big showcase of the planes and the soldiers and a great recruiting tool. And that's where I fell in love with the B-52. And on that day, it was a Sunday, and that's when the mountain blew. And they closed the base, they evacuated everybody, and Spokane's probably a couple 300 miles from the mountain, and you could see the horizon. Spokane's on the east side of Washington, and the Mount St. Helens is kind of definitely on the west side, but you could see the horizon. There's this dark, ominous cloud coming, and it was moving pretty fast. By the time we got off base and into kind of downtown Spokane, it was maybe 15-20 minutes, and the cloud had overrun us, and it was raining this really fine ash. And it was weirdly warm and kind of this green, gray, orange, blotted out the sun entirely. All the streetlights came on, and nobody really knew what to do. I'll never forget the dad. We stopped at the Pizza Hut thinking it would kind of overrun us. And then, but we were there for like an hour, and it just kept coming down. It was starting to like snow, just pile up. So you couldn't see anything in front of you. So we just kind of creeped up the hill to get home. And I'll never forget that day. And then to go visit this site in my van a few years ago. And Castle Rock's down below, right? Did you go see Castle Rock?
Yeah.
Cute little town. Oh my God. Yeah. And the destruction and how nature's coming back.
Yeah.
It was really something to see. Because again, being in Washington State, seeing how the mountain was getting angry was regular news, and then to go see this and then experience it was pretty. I'll just never forget that day in my life. And I also learned a good lesson. I shared with Gary and Patty that there's one and that's a lot of elevation, right, to get up there.
Yeah.
And so coming out of Castle Rock, there's one gas station after you get out of town, I don't know, 15-20 miles. It's the last gas station, and I was on a half tank of gas. And if I didn't stop and fill up, I would have got to the mountain and couldn't get off because I would have been out of gas. So that's where my half tank rule. If you don't know where you're going, don't know where your next gas stop is, and you're at a half tank, fill up, because I would have been stranded. Not a bad place to be stranded, but just saying. But Mount St. Helens, incredible.
We ended up kind of boondocking on that road. There was a couple of pull offs there, and Overlander said one of them you could stay there, and we pulled in there, and all of a sudden at dark, it got dark. A couple more cars came in, and then it turned out there was a blood moon, super blue moon rising, and so we got to see that. We weren't even expecting it, and we boondocked there for free that night. It was great.
It's just, again, in a camper van, really hard to do with any other type of rig. This one's really cool too. Where is this?
Yeah, that was I think that was some BLM land in California, just a hike and some pinnacle rock formations. But just kind of a weird thing in the middle of nowhere. You just kind of learn about it and go hiking. It was that was really a cool look. And
this one is, and I really have fallen in love with erosion. So we got one more I want to show you after this one. So people know where that is. Where is this? It looks like you're just at the tree line. What is that behind you? Yeah, that's another mountain in Banff. Another hike that we did. Yeah, there's just so many hikes there, and we went. You have the wildfire talk coming up, and we had our plan there in Banff last June or July, early July, and we had reservations in Jasper.
and the wildfire came through a couple weeks before we were, well, right when we were there, basically, and we got a notification that our reservations were canceled and Jasper was closed and we couldn't get up there. And
so the Icefield Parkway was, you can only go so far?
Yeah, the Icefield Parkway. We went as far as you could, but then, yeah, it was closed beyond that. So, yeah, that was very interesting. Very interesting. We were at a campground in Banff, and yeah, we had ashes actually falling on us from the wildfires in the area. So, yeah,
that's kind of so. This one, raise your hand if you're familiar with this. You said this is one of your earliest trips. Is that right? Where is this?
That was the Badlands. Yeah, that was the Badlands. I don't know. I don't remember if that was the wall where the free boondocking spot is or not, but
which a lot of people know about.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. I'm sure everybody that's gone to the Badlands in an RV has stayed on the wall. But yeah, that was great. That was another one. We were traveling through the Badlands, going to a hike, and we passed a trailhead parking lot, and we saw a silver van with scuffers. So we did a quick U-turn. That's an embassy. We did a quick U-turn, and we talked with, I forgot who it was now, who we met there. But yeah, so met another embassy couple there and hung out with them for a little while.
Which just happened a couple times.
Oh, Jeannie and Dave. That's who it was, Jeannie and Dave.
It's so funny.
Paul we ran into too a couple times.
Yeah, we've run into quite a few embassy folks on the road.
Yeah, it's they're more and more out there, which is great. So we're just about the top of the hour, so we just want to say hi to some folks. So here's Bill and Joe. They're driving, so drive carefully, please. Here's Rick saying Lukenbach. Be sure and put that on your list. Lukenbach, Texas, Fredericksburg. Okay. Here is a question from Deborah. Does an embassy RV fit through the Needles in South Dakota? I'm not familiar with that.
We went through, I think,
2 out of the 3. One.
Yeah, there was one that was just too tight, and we didn't. But we went through 2 of them.
2 or 3 that we could go through.
So yeah,
just one.
It was tight, and it was a little nerve wracking. But yeah, we made it through.
Put the mirrors in.
And yeah.
Okay, go slow.
Yeah,
I think the last one maybe. Whatever.
There was one that was too tight.
Yeah. Any chance you did you stop by Wall Drug?
Of course.
Oh yeah. You have to. Yeah.
The 5-cent coffee. Excuse me. Any chance you saw the Minuteman missile while you're driving I-90 there?
Yeah, we did go to that. Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool,
that
right?
Was very interesting. There's just so many interesting things.
Roswell, we went to. I mean, we've gone.
Yeah, we're looking for aliens.
Houston, the Houston Space Center.
Space centers, rocket launches.
We saw a rocket launch at Kennedy Space Center, and when we were up there, and it's just I mean, it's endless. Besides the national parks, we go to baseball games and we do all kinds of cool things, like I was just saying, and
we're not opposed to the big cities. We'll go there. We'll go. No problem.
Yeah, and that's again the beauty of the van. You can pretty much go anywhere, park anywhere. They're pretty stealthy. Here I got this picture. We'll give Embassy a little shout out here. But certainly with the air conditioner system you have, there's no giveaway. It looks like a catering van, if that. So it's pretty stealthy, which is pretty awesome. So this is the Dolphin, and they again build primarily on the Transit and the ProMaster Sprinter if you kind of want it. But they've really now. Does your Sprinter, is it all-wheel drive? Is that a fair assessment? Fair guess?
Yeah, the Transit's all-wheel drive. Yes, dualies in the back. Yeah.
And then this is what they've launched just half a year ago or so, well, a year ago maybe now. And I think Bob and Deb, they do have one of these. And Terry was just at the Cape Cod Van Fest in his Cape Cod. So if the van is too small, there is a way to go Embassy RV. And have you seen one of these in you probably did at the camp out, right?
Yeah, at the camp out and the meetups, we've seen them. Haven't seen one in the wild yet, but we're looking.
Well,
probably rare.
And Devin that Bob Scott at Peace Love and Van, and
Peace Love and Van,
and the meetups, and
so kind of a captive audience. And if you want to learn more about Embassy, this is our very clever website, embassyrv.com. I have stuff on my website. The great resource is run by owners, the Facebook page, I think you guys mentioned. So if you kind of go to Facebook, which I actually don't really use, just do a search, Embassy RV Owners and Wannabes, and it pops right up. Close to 3,000 members now. Pretty active group from what I'm told. Is that right?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the best resource that Embassy has. Honestly, I mean, once you get your Embassy is great for support, and you know, you can get your questions answered. But honestly, the people on the Facebook group, and they're just excellent, and they'll respect. If you're having any kind of an issue or you have any kind of a question, there'll be responses and you'll get it taken care of. And it's very fast. And it's just great to see people that post where they're at and where they're going. And we learn a lot of cool places just from that group. So yeah, if you're looking at a van, that's one piece of advice that I would have is get onto the Facebook group. I think all the vans have them, and get a sense for the community, and you'll learn a lot there.
Factory tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the factory tour is pretty amazing. Any time of year, really. Elkhart, which is not far from Chicago, a few hours drive.
Right.
And there's some great harvest hosts in the area. The RV Museum, downtown Elkhart is a super cute little town. So if you're kind of looking, this is kind of a shameless plug to help us. We've had a interesting year, me and Embassy RV. But if you're reaching out, tell them Scott from Go Small sent you. They'll take real good care of you, and that helps us keep working together, which I'm happy to say we will continue working together despite crashing their van. So we got a few more questions, and then we'll call it a wrap. I say David's saying I was just in the Badlands, Black Hills, Needles Highway, Devil's Tower.
Yeah.
Devil's Tower was cool.
Isn't that something? Oh my God.
Yeah, we had to get evacuated for a fire or something. And then...
Speaking of forest fires, there was one in that area. Yeah.
It's in, let's see, Taurus has got a question here. Any idea what your per mile operational cost is with or without gas? Whatever you can share. Gas mileage?
Gas mileage is, it really does depend on where you're at. If you're in the mountains, you're going to get a lot less, right, than just straight highway. So I usually reset my meter every time I get an oil change. So right now we're at about 3,000 miles into this new oil, and we're at 14.9 miles per gallon. So
that's pretty good, dragging your house around, right?
Yeah.
And with elevation, which is interesting. And here's Susan and Bob. What's up?
Hi, Susan.
That's pretty great. And then here's Gary. Hello from Gary and Marie. Oh yes, Gary and Marie. They're the embassy matchmakers. Terry's working on a plan for a matchmaking plan. So they Marie has a, hi Marie, how are you? She has an embassy. I can't remember what he has, but they're getting I think a Cape Cod. I might be wrong on that. Might be misspeaking. But anyway, great to see you both. Let me just remind folks of what's coming up. We've mentioned this a few times. I'm really excited about this this topic. So it's a week from today, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you see the little microphone there by me, that means we're doing kind of an open mic night. Now, while I've never had personal experience with wildfire, I've seen them. I've kind of driven by them. But if you have a personal experience with that, we're going to do an open mic. So I'd share an email address and come on the show and share your experience. I have been in flash floods, and I can tell you those are super scary, just like fire. And we did a Patreon call, and quite a few folks had been impacted by wildfires, and that is nothing to sneeze about. We're going to share some resources and some apps that you can track fires, so you're not surprised by them. Fire and flash floods are pretty dangerous. So please join us for that next Friday. And Gary and Pat, you said you'd never been one, but have kind of been around them a little bit. Is that what?
Yeah, close enough where the ashes were kind of sprinkling down on us, or we'll go to where we can see the smoke pluming into the air from I guess where the wind is blowing or what might be available to burn. We were able to get that close and not be threatened by the fire. So But yeah, we've never had to evacuate or been worried about our safety.
The other one, North Cascades, was another one.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking, where we kind of saw the smoke pluming from the forest. Pretty good, but the road was closed. We went up as far as we could to take a look, but I don't think it could have burned the direction we were at. That's why we were able to go where we were. But
a couple national parks, yeah, we had to change our plans or couldn't go as far as we wanted to because of the wildfires.
Yeah. So join us for that conversation. That's next Friday at 7. And then a couple weeks later, we've got the Patriot owners, Carl and his wife. I can't think of her first name. They are Patriot owners, built by Midwest Automotive Design, a very cool van. And so we're going to interview them, not unlike what we're doing tonight with Gary and Patty. So we just want to give everybody a great big thank you, especially Gary and Patty sharing their story with us and some of the travels. And we'd love to inspire folks, and whatever stage of life you're in, you can kind of do van life. I think you guys have made that pretty clear. So any last thoughts?
I just wanted to thank you, Bob and Deb, Scott, and Sherry. I know Bob was talking about me testing his bed in there when we were there in the Tampa. So thanks, Bob. So between the three of you, we had said this before. We don't know what van we would be in or where we would be if it wasn't for the four of you, kind of, leading the way for us.
Yeah, I echo that. And I would just say in general, if you're kind of on the fence of van life in general, not necessarily full time, but just van life travel, that kind of travel, I would say do it. Give it a try, because it's really been great. And the people you meet in the community, and, again, we meet friends and family on the road too. We'll meet them where they're at, and we come back and visit. So it's the best of every world is in this van community. So it's great. And
your kids don't think you're weird anymore, right?
No,
kids love it.
I think our kids were for us. It's some of our other family members were a little shocked at what.
The parents maybe not so much.
Our parents, you're going to do what? When?
Are you
going to be safe out there? Those kinds of things, right?
But our kids are like, have fun.
Yeah.
Come visit.
Yeah, exactly. We'll come see you guys. Or
Christmas is coming. Everybody say it's a great thank you from Sherry. Blessed to have you. And here's Jane and Bob, Deb. Great family for sure. Gary, Patty, stay right there. Thank you again, folks. We'll hopefully see you next Friday. We'll talk about wildfires. And appreciate y'all's support over this. This has been a tough year, but we're coming through it as we should, right? So just thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gary, Patty. Stay right there. We'll see y'all soon. Journey on. Peace be with you.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.